Hey guys, I just have a really quick impromptu video that you can probably tell is impromptu based on the fact that I have not brushed my hair and you're getting a mascara-less face and a hat. But I was just reading some posts in another group that I'm in, and there was a whole thread about kind of these women going back and forth saying, I am gonna be super strict for 30 days, I'm not doing any snacks, I'm not doing any cheats, I'm going to be super strict. And I don't know exactly what they were being strict with, whatever they have decided is healthy eating for them, I guess. And then there were a whole bunch of comments below saying, right there with you, I don't have cheats, but last week was my birthday and I went off the deep end. I have no self-control. Like my willpower, I don't have any willpower, or I can't handle cheats. And it just kind of got me a little worked up, and I wanted to throw in my 2 cents, I guess. And I get it, I understand, and I do think that the term cheat meals can represent a lot of different things for a lot of different people. But that just the term cheat, I think, needs to be changed, because cheating implies that you're doing something wrong, you're doing something bad. And no foods are inherently good or bad. Some have more nutrients, some are better for your health, others are less so. But inherently, there is no food that is good or bad, or more importantly, there is no food that makes you good or bad, depending on whether or not you eat it. So I think that by calling something a cheat, you are almost setting yourself up for defeat, because you're going into it thinking, I'm cheating, I'm doing something bad, I shouldn't be doing this, this is forbidden. And just the fact that you're going into it kind of with that mindset, I think makes you a lot more likely to overindulge and to kind of go off the deep end, because you're almost before you even start, you're telling yourself, I shouldn't be doing this, this is bad, I need to get right back on track, I can't have whatever these things are, I can't have these foods again after this, which makes you think, I need to make it worthwhile, I need to get in however much candy as I can during this cheat meal, because then I'm not allowed to have it again until next week or next month. And that is really just boils down to the binge and restrict cycle that so many of us have dealt with for a long time, and maybe are still dealing with, that by telling yourself you can't have something, you're making it more desirable. And by making these foods off limits most of the time, you're putting them on this pedestal, like these are they're something bad that's making me a bad person when I have them, but I love them, so I'm going to have them sometimes anyway, but I'm going to feel bad about it. And when I do, instead of doing it mindfully and moderately, I'm going to eat as much as I can, and then I'm going to feel physically sick and mentally bad, and then I'm going to swear off them again, and it's just that recurring cycle. So should you have cheat meals? I think you shouldn't call anything a cheat meal. Are there times that you can and should indulge? Absolutely. But I think the whole framework into which cheat meals fall needs to be rethought. If you are living this restrictive lifestyle where you're feeling deprived of all these foods that you enjoy and you feel compelled to cheat, I think you need to reassess your diet and what you're eating and how you're living, basically. Certainly, there are some foods that you might not want to eat because they don't make you feel good. Fine, you don't have to eat those things. And there are times that maybe you will choose to indulge in a food that you know makes you feel not so good, because you've decided that on that occasion it's worth it. I know, sometimes people, for example, that you're lactose intolerant, but the once a year that you go to a creamery and you have hand-churned ice cream, that I'm going to indulge in that ice cream even though I'm not going to feel great afterwards. fine. You get to choose all of the things. You are an adult with money and free will, and you get to decide what you eat and what you don't, when you eat it and when you don't. And there's no need to have these cheat meals kind of elevated as a thing that I deserve one cheat per month, or I can't cheat at all. It's almost, you may have experienced yourself, it's almost like the stricter you are, the harder you fall on the other end. So I really challenge you to take a look at the way you eat and see if you kind of can relate to anything that I just said, and if you feel like you make efforts to be like really, really adherent to a strict diet, except on the times that you do the exact opposite, and then you feel bad about that, and then you go back to being really strict. Think about just how that feels, how that's working for you, and consider taking a more moderate approach, a more mindful approach, and kind of dropping those rules and saying, I am allowed to eat whatever I want whenever I want, because I am an adult and I make these decisions for myself. I'm choosing to eat certain things because I know they are fueling my workouts, they're fueling my lifestyle, they are making me feel good inside and out. And I get to choose when I have a more indulgent food. And I get to choose when, you know what, I don't really want it. When you stop telling yourself you can't have something, it loses that luster. I have leftover Easter candy in the pantry. I love it. My husband did a great job picking it up for me, but it's going to be there whenever I want it. And as a result, I didn't need to go overboard on it on Easter because I was telling myself I can't have it after Easter Sunday. I ate the amount that I wanted, and it's still there. And when I want more, I can have more. And that's the mindset that I would love for every one of you to have. The mindset of, these are my decisions to make, and I get to decide when I eat and what I eat and how much of it I eat. And I'm not governed by these arbitrary rules that I've put in my mind about what's good and what's bad and how these foods define me. So I really want you to think about the message in this. And if you are noticing that this strikes kind of close to home and is something that maybe you want to explore a little further, please feel free to reach out to me. If it's something you'd rather discuss in private, you can always email me or just comment on the video that you'd like me to reach out to you. I'm happy to do that. But I really want you guys to start having, I guess, like food freedom, that you don't feel like you are imprisoned by food rules or by, good and bad foods and things like that. And when you remove kind of those shackles, the need for a cheat meal really just goes away because nothing is forbidden. I do want to make one caveat that we've talked before about red light foods, and those are the foods that maybe make you feel physically ill, you cannot control yourself around. Those are the only foods that I would support saying, like, I'm choosing not to eat those things, just period. Some foods for some of us, moderation is a struggle, and I get that. So I'm not saying that you have to introduce things back into your diet if you know that they're not going to work for you. But I just want you to try to get away from that deprivation mindset with all the rules and the need for cheating on your diet, which I just think is has such a negative connotation. So questions, comments, concerns, comment below, and I'll talk to you guys soon.